Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. There's an emerging theme. So it's a photo, it's an image of a notepad, and on that notepad are two like pens. It's very kind. The notepad is very, it's like a kid's notepad. The pens are, they're nice. One's white with polka dots, and one's got these nice stripes. It's kind of pinkish with these red stripes. It's illuminated probably by a light box. If I'm gonna get nerdy about the photographic technique, it's probably a stock photo. And again, this looks like a kind of an image that you use for your work. And it says on the bottom, it says goal planning. So goal planning. I adore the fact that we meet and I'm essentially getting a 1 hour one-on-one window into how you're spending your thoughts. And so goal planning, take us away. It's awesome.
It's something that I think about on a daily basis because my philosophy every day is if I can do one thing today, it's a win.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm happy, it's a good day. And with goal planning, it really kind of comes down to, what do you want out of life? What kind of life do you envision having, and how are you going to work towards that? And that is something that, I do for my clients as well as on a personal level. Like what does life look like? And for me, and in the last few years, it really has changed.
Right.
I value the relationships and the experiences a lot more. So in order to have more experiences, what does that look like? Where am I traveling to? What concerts am I going to? What's a new skill I'm going to learn? Right? And I talk to clients about that all the time, where it's like when you're talking about business, you can't build a strategy or go anywhere if you don't know where you want to go.
Of course.
Right? Otherwise, it's just, the blind leading the blind. So you have to sit down and really think about, and I tell them, get specific with it as well. I want to grow sales is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get there? What is it that you want to do? What sort of areas do you want to grow, and the people that you want to meet and the impact that you want to make in order to continue moving forward? And it's the same on a personal level. What does life look like for you? I mean, one of my goals, ideally, is to live part of the year here and live part of the year elsewhere. And to have that flexibility, just move around, travel, not feel like I'm stuck in one place.
I'm laughing because let's get a little bit more specific. Where is here? Where do you live?
I'm in Vancouver.
You're in Vancouver, okay? And,
yeah.
And where is somewhere else? Just anywhere else?
I've thought about like pre-Brexit, the UK was an option. I've heard great things about the Netherlands. I was in Palm Springs in July, and I fell in love with Palm Springs.
Nice.
So, there's definitely options, and I've always kind of wanted the freedom to do that because living in another place, I think, also really changes your perspective.
100%.
In terms of how you want to live and everything else.
So, one of the things that I've done in my own work and in books that I've written and stuff like that, or co-authored, is this notion of what is to think strategically. And so that it can be taught, like understanding the strategic mindset is something that you can teach other people. So that's just another way of calling it goal planning, right? So for somebody who's listening to this in their car or wherever it is that they're listening to this, how would you succinctly explain what it is, the process of goal planning? Like, how do you set a goal?
Well, it's really about coming down to basically what do I want, and where do I want to go? It's really those two questions, and it can be done for, your professional aspirations and your personal life, because it's really about, where do I want to go?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to do? Because I'm at point A right now. Where's point B? And how am I going to get to point B? What are the different paths I can take to get to point B? And it's, people would ask, well, sometimes the question has come up, why would I need to leave point A? Well, the reasons you have for leaving point A are because you want to keep growing, you want to keep learning, and you're not happy staying stagnant. You're not happy staying complacent. Because if there's one thing that I've learned in my life, staying complacent will kill you.
Sure. Okay.
Because what ends up happening is there's going to be outside forces, and I'm sure you've been through this too, where you think you're finally settled, you think you have stability, and then something happens to yank the rug out
Of
from
course. Yeah.
underneath you, and then you're forced to start from square one. For the folks that are continually looking at, I'm at point A, I want to get to point B, point C, point D, you're always looking at different ways to continue to grow, to learn, to captivate yourself, to get that new perspective, to get those new opportunities. And in that way, I almost feel like working towards those goals are a new kind of stability almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not stable in the sense that you're always going to be working the same job or making the same amount of money, but stable in the sense that you know that you're going to be okay because there's always new opportunities out there for
Right.
you. Your belief has changed from being finite to being infinite.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that came up in my head when you were saying this was this notion of a self-limiting belief. Like, well, I want to stay in A because blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. But how about you make it real in terms of like a case or an example where you did this for a client? You don't have to give the specifics, obviously, but make it real for somebody who's listening, going like, oh, so that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a client who came to me and he said, I'm releasing this graphic novel that's based on my previous web TV series and a film that I did. I could really use some help to kind of get it out there. And his goal was to increase sales and, use this as a vehicle to have people then go back and watch the film and watch the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, let's put everything together. Let's get all of the storytelling elements together that you want to share, like the images, what the story is actually about, keeping it sort of self-contained so that folks that come across it are not going to feel lost
Mm-hmm.
because it is connected to your prior properties. And we put it out there. We put it out there in a promotional campaign and ended up getting a lot of coverage, reviews, and promotion from media all over the world who were excited about the project, who wanted to keep reading the graphic novel, who some of them went back and watched the film and the web series. And it really was about, point A was having written it to begin with.
Yep.
Point B was, hey, I want to get it out there because I want it to get to the hands of the right readers. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get in front of the right audience. And we did that by building the relationships with these media outlets and these readers and sharing that with them.
Mm.
And they loved it. They shared their thoughts and opinions on it. And that really helped grow the audience and grow the excitement for, the next issue coming out.
Okay. How does the process of writing, of actually sitting down and creating a text, which is a linear progression of ideas, right? So you're over time, you're just setting down a narrative or a story going from point A to point B. So in a way, like how much is your process and the secret sauce really boils down to that of a writer's mindset?
It's funny that so many of the folks that I'm friends with and people that I talk to and that I've worked with see it as separate silos.
Okay.
Writing is one thing, marketing is the other. But I agree with you in that there's a lot of similarities because in order to effectively promote something, you have to have something to tell people.
Sure.
And in order to have something to tell people, you have to know what that story is. So, where are we starting? Well, we're starting from the beginning of the story, which is who are you? Why do you do what you do? How do you do it? And why does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
And when you choose to share those pieces of yourself and your story with people, that's what generates that trust and that credibility and keeps people coming back to paying attention to the other things that you put out there. And they will come to you if they trust what you have to say when it comes to knowledge that you have to share,
Right.
experience, skills, expertise. And it's really how somebody comes out there, business owner, to build their reputation as the go-to person, the leader for this particular subject matter because people value their opinions on it.
Yep. Yes. Agreement. Total full agreement. Yes. Oh, I can ask you 1,000 questions. How about I'll just keep one? You want to move on to the next photo?
Sure.
These conversations fly by.
Yeah.
We occupy or inhabit very similar professional interest worlds. I come from a background essentially from writing, so our mindsets, I think, are quite similar.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So next photo.
Sure.
Nice. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.